Hey everybody, this is Matt Schmidt with the Muskegon Risers, and it's been quite a year. Now is an opportunity for us to review Muskegon Risers in 2020, and definitely was a year full of adversity, but our culture and our mindset has always been with adversity comes opportunity, and I think you're going to see throughout the course of the year, as we got presented with different challenges, we took the opportunity to innovate. And as you all know, and we sort of set the expectation up front, we are truly believers that you are investing in our team and investing in the purpose that we hold really dear to our hearts relative to the community of Muskegon. And when you attach your business's name to us, we take it very seriously. It's a sacred trust that we work extremely hard to ensure that you see a return on investment with. So a quick recap, as we have evolved as an organization, we have a men's arena team that plays from January through April, in addition to men's outdoor team that traditionally plays from May through late July, early August. So that's sort of traditionally been what the Muskegon Risers have been known for. And in 2019, we actually did a test run for a women's outdoor team. So in August of 2019, we played the first ever semi-pro women's game in Muskegon for Muskegon. I think the last time a women's quote-unquote semi-pro team represented the city would have been 1946, the Muskegon Lassies baseball team. So got a lot of really good traction with that game, and decided in 2020 that it would be a perfect opportunity to not just play one game, but actually play an entire season from May through late July, early August. So as we kind of led into 2020, our men's indoor season started. We played starting in January, and during that season, we took an opportunity, kind of like our one outdoor game in 2019, for the women's team. We took an opportunity to play one women's game during the arena season to sort of get everybody excited about the fact that, hey, there's a full women's outdoor soccer season coming, and we were able to do quite a bit of advertising. We got featured on anywhere from Fox 17 to interviews on PBS, WGVU, and then various local publications also carried a story. We actually played it would have been mid-February, we played the first ever women's arena soccer game in the history of Mercy Health Arena in downtown Muskegon. And it was a really fun event. We ended up playing against the Muskegon Community College Jayhawks women's team, and it was a very competitive game. The Risers women ended up pulling away close to the end of the game, so it was a thriller, very entertaining, and we had quite a unique high level platform to showcase women's soccer and really the program overall in the direction that it was heading. So again, we started in 2015 as a men's outdoor team only, and now in 2020 we have evolved into a men's and women's indoor and a men's and women's outdoor program that operates from January all the way through early August. So strategically, that's great for our players, our staff, our partners, our fans, the community that we serve. We're more active during the year, and not just that, we have both men's and women's teams now. So originally having a 25 person roster for the men's team, you're doubling that, doubling the young people that are involved during the course of the year. So that is up until about mid-March, and obviously we all kind of know what happened. And we, as we were staring at summer, we had a very clear vision of playing a full women's season, a full men's season, and just kind of taking off and using it. We were theming it internally as the summer of separation. This was going to be the summer that we really took a giant step forward and distinguished ourselves kind of once and for all as a premier program, not just in the state of Michigan, but across the Midwest and the country. And we could have gotten really frustrated because the reality is no sports seasons were played during the summer and the spring. We made a decision in early April that we need to be really smart about how we move forward and safe and gather data, and we just had the sense that the COVID situation wasn't going to go away anytime soon. So in early April, I kind of made the judgment call to forego the summer seasons for our men's and women's outdoor teams. And it could have ended there, right? We could have sat back and just waited this thing out. But again, the theme, the mentality has been adversity creates opportunity. And there was a really fitting opportunity for us to innovate. And one of our outdoor leagues presented an idea for us to join an esports league with teams across the country. So if you haven't heard of esports, now is the time for you to look it up, Google it, do some research. I'll do a quick synopsis. Basically, esports within the context of soccer is really very similar in terms of how it operates. The only difference is instead of your players all going onto a real pitch, a real grass field in a stadium in front of fans, they're logging in online and they're playing through a video game and taking the online field, so to speak. But the neat part about it is we were still able to broadcast. You're still able to do players of the week. You're still able to do highlights. You're able to do ad placements. And we kind of saw that as a really unique opportunity to innovate and grow and evolve and continue to serve the purpose that we were created for, which is serving and creating a positive impact on Muskegon through soccer. So with that purpose in mind, the soccer basically went from being on a field to being virtual, and we really maintained a high level of engagement. The esports opportunity and the popularity in the market is growing significantly right now. I think it was always coming, but I'm sure the pandemic probably accelerated that quite a bit. But you're now looking at the University of Michigan, Michigan State University, Western Michigan University, Davenport University. Those colleges, those schools are actually giving scholarships now for esports. So that just kind of tells you how big esports is getting. And we took the opportunity to innovate and actually build an esports team for the Muskegon Risers. And instead of playing, our May to late July schedule for at Cairns Stadium at Muskegon Catholic Central, we played an esports schedule. It was Tuesdays and Thursdays every week from mid-May through mid-July. There were 16 teams involved all across the country, from Las Vegas to Buffalo to Houston to Northern California, and even Boston and Boca Raton, just to kind of give you an idea of how far and wide these teams were. And Muskegon had an opportunity to compete in that and represented not only ourselves, but everybody involved with the program, from our fans to our supporters and staff and you as partners. You were right in line with that and got the exposure, the same amount of exposure that we did as a program, for kind of cutting against the grain and innovating there. And I can tell you that we were the only esports team of our kind in the state of Michigan. I think the next closest one was in Milwaukee. They were actually in our league. So I think it's one thing to try something new and another thing to do it really well. And we did it very well. We actually finished second place in the regular season, made the playoffs. Again, it's just like outdoor soccer, except you're not on a physical field. So the team was competitive. They represented well. we can actually dive into how many people watched our games, how many people saw our Player of the Week posts and highlights and Fan of the Week and all these different things that we were able to still do digitally with the program and sort of, again, promote Muskegon, facilitate positive social and economic change on the Muskegon Lakeshore through soccer. And soccer in this case was in the context of esports. So it was really exciting. We had WZZM 13 do a story on us. We had MLive pick up on what we were doing and do an article. We had a national gaming publication actually write a story that said, I think the title was Leaders of Esports, and it had myself and our head coach and one of our players on the cover of it. So again, look up esports as it relates to soccer. It's very, very similar operationally. Again, it's just taking things from physical space to a virtual space, and with everything that we were dealing with from the pandemic situation, it was the smartest, safest way to continue growing our brand, continue to promote our partners, and serve our community the best way that we could. So we took the momentum from that esports season, which finished, the first season finished at the end of July. We lost to, funny enough, Las Vegas in the playoffs. So it's kind of cool to think that a Muskegon team can, at the drop of a hat, play a team from Las Vegas. And again, very competitive. It was fun. A lot of people tuned in, and we used that momentum to play another season of esports. So we actually played another round in September, and August, early August, and that lasted until late September. So we just wanted to make sure that we found something that was going to last, and we did. And we, looking back at 2020, we now have men's and women's arena, men's and women's outdoor, and an esports team that we took the opportunity to create for the Muskegon Risers. And again, as our partner, you are directly connected to that. So we always want to circle back at the end of every year and hold ourselves accountable to the expectations that we set with you. We take your investment seriously. We view it as an investment, and ultimately we're channeling that to further our purpose of making a positive social and economic impact on Muskegon through the game of soccer. Big picture recap of 2020, and now let's go ahead and dive into the numbers of it, the analytics of it, because I think it's pretty exciting to see how we've taken an esports platform, in addition to early on the arena soccer season before COVID, and just continued to deliver the impressions, the clicks, the views, the level of engagement that you as a partner expect when you connect your brand with the Muskegon Risers. So let's go ahead and dive right into that. So there are really 4 different categories of activation within the context of the Mercy Health brand and our current partnership. The first being jerseys, players wearing them, both men's and women's, indoor and outdoor, whether it's during a game, getting pictures with fans after, photography, live stream exposure, people buying replicas and wearing them around town. That's a core element of activating the Mercy Health brand as it relates to the Muskegon Risers. And as you can imagine, we were able to do that on the arena side of things. A ton of exposure with both the men and women when it came down to replicas and players wearing the jerseys and things like that. We adapted a little bit, again, based on the conditions. Instead of outdoor jerseys, we actually had the logo on our virtual gaming graphics and jerseys. So slightly varied, but still ultimately generating that kind of exposure and engagement for the Mercy Health brand that we want front and center on the Risers players, right in front of our audience. So that's really the first category and first example of how we
adapted in advance to continue delivering on our relationship with Mercy Health over the course of 2020. The second aspect is signage. Mercy Health being displayed in the arena, around the facility, and also during outdoor games having prominent banners, signage, things of that nature. Again, dasher boards were up during our men's and women's games. Just have a quick, picture examples to show proof of that. And then instead of the outdoor season happening, we created signage and branding for people who are watching our esports streams. So if you just look in that the upper right-hand corner on the right half of the graphic, you can see every esports game. There were 15 nights throughout the course of the summer where we streamed, and Mercy Health was front and center as the presenting partner of these streams. So everybody that watched, every eyeball that this stream reached, Mercy Health was right there. So again, from a signage perspective, more of a digital signage versus physical, but ultimately delivering the same value in terms of getting people exposure to the Mercy Health brand through Muskegon Risers signage. And pretty powerful statistics. If you look kind of small right below the screenshot of that video, you can see over 10,000 people were reached on that one stream. So needless to say, we actually may have over-delivered to some extent with the amount of people that were viewing these live streams and seeing the Mercy Health signage. So game sponsorships, presenting youth soccer nights. We hosted youth soccer night during the arena season. And you can see within our graphics, the bottom right-hand corner there, Mercy Health is a presenting partner in that, prominently displayed on all of our advertising, whether it was organic or paid. Made sure that we delivered on that front. And then obviously we could not do an outdoor youth soccer night that presented Mercy Health in correlation with that, but we were able to do, again, those 15 nights of esports streams. And every graphic that we did, you can see, if you're looking at the bottom left-hand corner here on the right side, you can see the ENPSL live stream with the Risers logo, then the two opponents. We played 15 game nights and 2 games each night, which allowed us to really extend our exposure during each of those game nights. But you can see, again, on that graphic, we made sure that we had Mercy Health as the presenter of those competitions. Again, it is a way to adapt through not being able to do a youth soccer night on the outdoor side of things. We continued to deliver and made sure that people were aware Mercy Health is a community partner of ours, and through their support we are able to innovate and continue to play and engage and promote the Muskegon area through soccer. And then lastly, Riser review emails. This is over the course of a year that we set the expectation for getting 40 Riser review emails out to our audience throughout the course of the year. We're actually already at 39 year to date. So we have actually one. I'm recording this in late November. We have one more scheduled this week that will actually allow us to hit that 40 emails mark. So as you can see, just a quick screenshot in the bottom right-hand corner, Mercy Health is on all of our emails, whether it's an update regarding men's arena, women's, men's and women's outdoor, or esports. As you can see here with the ENPSL playoffs, we made sure to tie Mercy Health's brand into all of those communications to deliver on the Riser review email side of things. So want to quickly transition now, after the proof of activation, demonstrating how we were able to adapt in advance during 2020 to continue to activate on our partnership with Mercy Health. We can look at the numbers and how that actually can be quantified as well. All right, flipping over to the Risers audience. I suppose before we dive into the analytics, it would be good to qualify the Risers audience, who we are engaging with, who is subsequently engaging with our brand and the brands of our partners. And really they line into three distinct categories. We have soccer families, kids playing, parents bringing kids to games, parents who are interested in learning more about the game of soccer at a high level. We see boys and girls, teenagers, mom and dad, grandma and grandpa. That sort of encompasses that demographic in terms of the soccer family that will typically come out to games, engage with us on social media, and again, connect with the brains of our partners. Young professionals, soccer is hip, it's cool. A lot of young people played the game growing up and are now working professionally around the area, but still have a passion not only for the game of soccer, but for what's happening in Muskegon from a revitalization standpoint. And this gives them a creative outlet to express their enthusiasm for Muskegon and passion for the game of soccer. So that's the second demographic. And finally, local supporters of positive initiatives within the Muskegon Lakeshore community. So really anybody who may not even necessarily have grown up playing soccer, but they appreciate what the organization is doing, the positive impact that we're making socially and as an economic driver here in their community. So again, somebody may not even be a fan of soccer, but they are a fan of positive initiatives within their community, within their neighborhood, and as a result, they support us and engage with the work that we're doing. So that again, that kind of qualifies and helps define who we are engaging with and helps bring these numbers to life a little bit. So as we kind of run down the different platforms that we're able to really analyze and provide very detailed numbers about how many people and the volume of those people that are engaging with us. The three main players and the three main platforms that allow us to track user engagement are social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. That's traditionally, as we report every single year, that's always been a key indicator in terms of how we are doing. It measures not only who follows us, but how much they're engaging and how many people are actually seeing our efforts. We do obviously have word of mouth and will have kids wearing jerseys in school and do a lot of community outreach, but that is much harder to quantify. So rather than speculate on that kind of stuff, I always want to make sure that we're providing you with concrete numbers. So looking again, 2018 was actually 1 year before we started the 3-year agreement with Mercy Health, but it does kind of give us a benchmark in terms of overall progress. So as you can see, followers in every single category, every single platform have improved from Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And that just simply means that we have more people who are wanting and actively seeking content from the Muskegon Risers. And I think some of that probably is reflective of us going from just a men's indoor and outdoor team to adding women's and scaling up into esports. The more active you are in those different categories, I think the tendency is for more people to want to engage with you and different people to want to engage with you. So followers have increased, organic impressions, which simply means we're posting, we're not paying for these impressions, and an impression is eyeballs, who is seeing every single post that we make, who's seeing the content, and this tracks it again over the course of the year. So we went from in 2018 on Facebook 490,000 to then this year 605,000, and you can see the same trend, 344 on Instagram all the way up to 469,000 in 2020, and then finally on Twitter, which actually saw the greatest increase, went from 250,000 to 450,000, so a 200,000 impression increase. And I think, we talk a lot about the innovation and adapting to current conditions and ultimately delivering for our partners similar, if not greater value. And when it comes right down to it, the numbers are what are most important. You want to still be able to engage with people at a high level, at a high volume, and I think this pretty clearly exemplifies that. Lastly, we don't really do any paid advertising on Instagram or on Twitter. Our bread and butter for the last 3 years has been Facebook. It allows us to segment audiences and target audiences in a very intentional way. So that's always been our best and smartest use of marketing dollars, and you can see the return on investment here with 211 paid impressions in 2018. That went up to just over 500,000 paid impressions in 2020. And why does that matter for the Mercy Health brand? Again, being a title sponsor, having the logo placed prominently, whether it's signage at a game, on the front of our jerseys, the presenting partner of events, your logo is everywhere. So your brand is effectively measured by the performance of our brand. And again, proof of activation, those 4 different categories result in these numbers. And you, as a obviously a title sponsor, you need to be able to see the quantifiable data as it relates to your investment. As we look ahead at 2021, the core of the strategy has to be safety and quality. As a partner of ours, you're front and center on everything we do, and in no way, shape, or form do we want to compromise the safety of our players, our fans, or the quality of the product that's on the field, the quality of the experience that we're providing for our community. We're going to host 3 men's and 3 women's arena games in Mercy Health Arena from late February to late April. That'll give us plenty of lead time to plan, allow for more vaccination to be distributed, in addition to a controlled environment where we are actually not going to travel anywhere. We're going to have everything happening in Mercy Health Arena, where you probably already know there's been a lot of effort done to allow for protocols to be followed from the CDC and local health departments. So strategically, from an arena soccer standpoint, that is both a safe and a high quality opportunity for us to move forward in 2020. And then shifting towards the outdoor season from May through July, we again expect things to be even more back to quote unquote normal. So we'd be playing our traditional outdoor seasons at that time. And then some pretty unique and exciting opportunities came about with our esports team, which I know, 3 years ago when we first signed a longer term agreement with Mercy Health, we didn't think that was even going to be around. I don't even think we knew that the women's team was going to be around at that point. But with relation to the esports team, we're going to partner up with Van Andel Institute in late July, early August. They're going to host a virtual gaming event called Gaming for Hope. And that's going to be almost like a convention that's going to take place in the DeVos Place in downtown Grand Rapids. And we fully expect that to be a pretty large event for not only West Michigan, but the gaming community at large. We have been asked to take the lead on the soccer virtual tournament that's going to take place, and we will be a headline sponsor / partner of that event, which means Mercy Health will also be getting that exposure along with us. So I understand that there's a lot of competition between different hospitals in the area, and I think obviously this allows Mercy a very unique and strategic way to be a little bit different and get exposure to a unique audience that is right here, local, and also, of course, has a massive amount of goodwill behind it in terms of the Van Andel Institute's research and efforts towards cancer research. So that is our 2021 strategy. I thought it was really important to make sure that we were clear about how we plan to move forward. It's simple, and simple allows us to be effective and execute at a very high level. Again, to make sure that is safe, that we're maintaining a high level of quality for the experience of our players, our fans, staff, and business partners.